The anticipation has now been fulfilled. Germany has granted final environmental certification to Tesla Gigafactory Berlin. After a lengthy process that included delays, conflicts, and other drama, the project is expected to begin construction in the next few months. The State of Brandenburg produced an official document verifying the update, which outlines the next steps that the electric car manufacturer must take in order to begin vehicle production at its electric vehicle factory in Germany. Watch this video till the end to find out all the juicy details. A press release from the state stated that Giga Berlin has been granted permission to conduct many activities, including the production of up to 500,000 vehicles each year. The clearance also includes battery cell manufacturing activities within the Giga Berlin facility, which should let Tesla to manufacture its own battery cells from its new headquarters in Germany. According to the 536-page decision, the project comprises a facility that will be capable of producing up to 500,000 automobiles per year, aluminum smelting plants, an aluminum foundry, and plants for surface treatment, heat generating, and energy storage. A news release stated that the facility also features battery cell production, an operational wastewater treatment plant, a fire brigade equipment house, a high bay warehouse, as well as laboratories and workshops. It should be emphasized that, despite the fact that it took 2 years to come to this stage, the formal approval of the Gigafactory Berlin was accomplished in a reasonably short period of time, at least in comparison to other projects. After all, the State Office of the Environment was needed to investigate and approve not only the factory itself, but also the entire industrial region, which included numerous large-scale facilities, over the course of the preceding 2 years. Environment Minister Alex Vogel expressed his gratitude to state personnel and other authorities for expediting the clearance procedure for Giga Berlin's construction. In your role as a high-performing state administration, you have always placed a strong emphasis on technical requirements, a high level of environmental protection, the protection of the general public, and the neighborhood from dangers, even when faced with intense public pressure and unreasonable harassment, as well as legal certainty in the procedure. In times of climatic crisis, the availability of water will become an increasingly essential factor in the planning and construction of future communities and developments. First and foremost, digitization may aid in the simplification and acceleration of procedures without jeopardizing environmental norms or participation rights, Vogel explained. District Administrator Rolf Lindemann stressed the importance of Giga Berlin for the entire region. In spite of significant obstacles, the project was nevertheless able to reach a significant milestone such as final environmental approval in a relatively short period of time, demonstrating the project's enormous potential. As well, he stated that Giga Berlin, along with those who have been working with Tesla over the past 2 years to get the project approved, will be prepared to meet whatever obstacles lie ahead. The Oder-Spree district described the Tesla Gigafactory as a huge stroke of luck for the development of our region's infrastructure. Because of this, we have committed all of our resources to assisting in the transformation of this rare potential into a visible success. Even if it hasn't always been simple, we're still far from finished with regard to the ultimate form of the overall project. Nonetheless, despite all predictions of disaster, we can all be proud of what we have accomplished thus far. The resulting confidence and unwavering vigor will enable us to meet the further challenges that lie ahead. I'm referring to the official support of the subsequent expansion stages, the completion of the battery factory, and of particular relevance, especially for local politicians, the stress-free integration of the Gigafactory into the transportation system as much as possible. For the sustainability element and seamless movement in connection with production to be met, it is, of course, required to begin building housing near to the area and developing the related social infrastructure as early as possible. Our faith is in the same level of support from the state government that we have been able to count on in the past, Lindemann explained. While the final environmental approval for Giga Berlin has been obtained, Tesla must still ensure that the project meets all of the state standards. One of the most striking features of this is the massive amount of its approval documentation, which total more than 23,700 pages spread across 66 files. A total of more than 400 ancillary provisions are included, covering topics such as groundwater protection requirements, as well as water saving and wastewater reducing measures, species protection measures, limit values for air pollutants, and regulations on their measurement, as well as requirements for occupational safety and health. There were also several other specific requirements for the plant's operations that were noted in the press release, particularly those that dealt with how the plant's operations affected groundwater in the vicinity. There are 113 air pollution control standards, which include the height of each exhaust air stream's chimney in relation to the other exhaust air streams. Also included in this section are 22 requirements that specify the techniques and time intervals at which exhaust air must be sampled, the 96 criteria for drinking water protection, wastewater disposal, and rainfall establish, among other things, the maximum allowable discharge into the wastewater pressure line, and the cleaning techniques that are to be used to clean the wastewater pressure line. When working with building materials, it is critical to guarantee that no dangerous compounds enter the groundwater. Groundwater monitoring is required to ensure that both the creation of fresh groundwater and the quality of the groundwater are checked on a regular basis. It should be possible to respond to changes as soon as possible in light of the tense water situation, which is exacerbated by climate change, among other factors. Following the approval authority's inspection, the entire system is subject to the provisions of the Hazardous Incidents Ordinance 12 BIMSH, and as a result, special precautions must be taken to prevent incidents and to mitigate the consequences of incidents, as well as to maintain an appropriate safety distance from adjacent protected objects. In accordance with the news release, Tesla must develop an incident concept and comply with particular information obligations. In its statement, the state stated that Tesla may now begin or continue with the continued development of Giga Berlin, and that opposition to the project will no longer have a suspensive effect. Although it should be noted that other auxiliary requirements must be completed before Tesla can begin production at its Model Y manufacturing facility, the company has stated that it would do so. The implementation of these provisions, which include the installation of measuring devices for air pollutants as well as fire and accident prevention measures, will be subject to inspection by the appropriate authorities. Once Tesla has completed this phase, it is possible that Model Y production for customer vehicles may finally begin. Everyone's attention is now focused on just how quickly Tesla will be able to fulfill all of the requirements for Giga Berlin's operational permit. While that does it for today's, what do you think about the new Gigafactory in Berlin? Let us know in the comments below. If you like the videos, please subscribe and click on the bell icon for notifications on new videos. And as always, have a great day.